Good evening, Americans. This is your favorite alien and Bubba. Hey, Bub, say hi to the Americans, Bub. Bubba, yoo-hoo, Bub. Bubbers, yoo-hoo. Say hi to the Americans, Bub. Here on Tuesday night, October 15th, I believe. Yeah, 15th. Wow. Uh, anyway, wanted to do a special video tonight since seems like neither the American people nor the Supreme Court nor Congress, especially the executive department, want to get their country out of the Waterloo that you're in, which you started as a Kobayashi Maru and now it's a Waterloo. Uh, Here is my suggestion to get out of this mess. You have always done what you call kick the can down the road. And this is most evident by the Compromise of 1820, which you kicked it down the road. Then you had to do a Compromise of 1850, which didn't help the situation and made it worse. So you kicked that down the road, which caused a civil war, which you ended and didn't do a thing about, just defeated the South. But the questions that the Civil War started never got answered, never got resolved. So you kicked down along the road, caused a Compromise of 1877, which you kicked that around for another 150 some years almost since then. And here we are on the Waterloo, caused by you kicking the can down the road with all those three compromises. So here's my suggestion, Americans, and to you and the executive department, i.e., President Trump, and the legislative department, that's Mr. McConnell in the Senate and Mrs. Pelosi in the House, and to the Supreme Court, i.e., Chief Justice Roberts. To you I'm speaking of here. My suggestion is not another compromise because that just creates problems. You want to resolve this problem and get the United States into a former footing here and get it off of this constitutional crisis. And the only way to do it that I can see is as follows. I call it the consensus of 2020. Not compromise of 2020, but consensus of 2020. And it consists of the following. Number one, the Democrats and Republicans get together, along with the Supreme Court justices. That's the leaders of the Senate and the House. Congressman Pelosi and the ranking Republican in the House, Senators Schumer and Senator McConnell in the Senate, and all 9 Chief Justices of the Supreme Court, plus a representative of the executive branch, i.e., Vice President Pence, would be my subjects there. Number 1, President Trump shall recuse himself from seeking re-election in 2020. So shall Vice President Pence. No office holding for each one of them. Mr. Pence can accept run for office in 2024 if he so decides. Number 2, the Democrats shall hereby cease their impeachment proceedings against President Trump and let President Trump finish up his term, and any violations that he has accumulated prior to presidency will be taken care of by the probes that are ongoing in the state of New York. That is his responsibility. That's before precedent. Number 4, the U.S. Supreme Court shall make a decision on the presidential phone calls, protocols for future administrations, on how to handle heads of states concerning communications via phone, Skype or text or fax. No political situation should be handled by the U.S. president at all, period. And the said agreement should be made public to the American people. Therefore, in 2020, the people that should be running for office, and that excludes, besides President Pence, Vice President Pence and President Trump on the Republican side, on the Democratic side, the people that should not be running for office are former Vice President Biden and Bernie Sanders should not be running on their side either. Elizabeth Warren, if she can maintain her lead, she'll be allowed to run. And all the rest of you dum-dums, you Republicans will have to get a new candidate to run for your office. May I suggest Mr. Kasich, a nice, compromising candidate, because he's a moderate Republican. You right-wing Republicans and you left-wing Democrats will cease to be a problem in the United States government, period. This will be my suggestion. And I know the U.S. Supreme Court will go along with this handily. It'll establish a good constitution going forward, and the Supreme Court shall be making protocol decisions on the other two branches of government. No more politicals is allowed for the picking of U.S. Supreme Court's justices. It should be the man with the best merit, because his opinion should be the Supreme Court and Constitution #1. This would be the Favorite Alien's position on this. It's a position that my planet took on certain items when we left our home planet, to make sure that we didn't make the stupid mistakes that you guys did. This is one of the mistakes that they did, and it cost them the planet. It's going to cost you your country if you don't make this kind of decision. So for Bubba, this is your Favorite Alien saying good night.